Alright, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to another round of Coffee and Questions. We're going to have a quick tip of the day. We'll talk about tape measures for a minute. I stopped by our little group meeting. We sat around chit-chatted about what we're going to do on Saturday, and I told them, well, I'll probably do, a how-to video on some woodworking stuff. But we sat around, and one of the guys there was talking about tape measures for a second, and I thought, well, here's something interesting. In a few notes that I made on things that people, they may or may not know. I've got an assortment of tape measures. Let me talk about the first one. This one right here, it's really gummed up, weathered. I got it from Harbor Freight. It was a giveaway. It's not my most reliable kind of a tape measure. I keep one in each one of the vehicles because if I stop somewhere and I don't have a tape measure, I have it sitting where I can grab it real quick and I can use it to at least do some rough measuring. But in the shop at home, I want super accurate measuring tools, whether they're squares or whatever, but especially in terms of tape measures. Now, I have this one I'll talk about briefly. When I was marking off stuff in the yard, this one's 100 feet. It's got the hook on it and it will stretch out to 100 feet. And it just hand winds back up. Just like this, boom, you put it away. I want to stick with the more traditional talk on just these kinds of tape measures, the ones you get out at the store. Now, I have several different kinds, and I'll talk to you about each one. I've got these, like I said, which are my down dirty quick ways of measuring. Now, on all tape measures, you've got this clip here that sticks down. It's got a groove in it. Let me see if I can get up real close. Got that little slot in there. Now if you have a nail driven into a piece of wood, that nail head will secure right in through that hole and you'll be able to pull it out and measure. You got 3 rivets on these. Now most good tape measures are going to have at least 3 rivets. And you're going to notice up here in the front there's a little bit of play. Now you'll see, especially in a lot of videos, they'll talk about this clip, and it's got a little bit of play in it right here. If you go back and forth. So whether you push on it and it collapses, or if you're hooking it and you pull it out, you'll feel that little bit of give. That compensates for this right here, this down portion, which is about 1/16 inch thick. So that 1/16 in play is what compensates for that to give you a more accurate measurement. Now, if you want a super accurate measurement, and sometimes I do, I actually just will go to where it says 2 inches or 3 inches or whatever, and I put that like on the edge of my board, and then I go out to the measurement that I want. This is fairly accurate way of measuring, I'm not disagreeing, but sometimes I want to double check it, and I'll use the other method just to ensure I have a super accurate measurement. Now, so let's talk about cheap versus good. Here's your Harbor Freight ones, these are the cheap ones. Now let's talk about buying a tape measure. A cheap one, which is good, just to have handy. And we'll talk about, more expensive ones. So you go out, and how do you know? Well, you can go by name brand, and you can rely on that, whether they're Milwaukee or, DeWalt or Stanley or whatever. And, you can buy one after, picking it up and holding it, playing around with it. It's your best guess. Now there's another way for a minute. This right here is a Lufkin. I've had this for a long time, 25 footer. Take and extend it like this. And keep extending it out. Keep extending it. I'm at 6 feet. It's still nice and rigid. I'm at 7 feet. It's still nice and rigid. There's 8 feet and I'm still holding this thing out. It's not breaking and bending down on me yet. Keep going. There's 9 feet. It's still. Alright, just before I got to the 10-foot mark, it did this. That's a good quality tape measure. It can hold up to that kind of tension as you're extending it out. That's my point. So that's one way to tell this is a damn good tape measure. Okay, let's try it with a couple of others. I have a Stanley lever lock. I've had this for a long time also. Is it a good tape measure? Let's see. I'm going to extend it. I'm at 4 feet, 5 feet. Here's 6 feet. Oops. Right around 6 feet. Okay, now that's on this lure lock. I'm sorry, lever lock. It's a good tape measure still, and I've had it for a long time. Now, one of the best tape measures I've run across is the Fat Max by Stanley. Now, I'm sure there's lots of good tape measures out there. I don't own all of them. I'm just demonstrating the ones that I have. Let's go right here to the front. Let's take a look. I have that little play in here, and it's meant to be there. I had somebody in the club go, well, the rivets aren't, secure. They're not tight enough. They're not supposed to be. That play is supposed to be there for if I'm butting up measuring, or if I'm on the edge of a piece of lumber and I'm extending out. It compensates for the thickness, like I said. This is a really good, well-made tip. I can tell by feeling it and playing around with it. Let's put it through the break test. There's 5 feet. There's 6 feet. 7. 8. 9. 10. There's 10 right there, and it's still nice and stiff and standing out there. Let's go to 11. 11, maybe a little less, and it's broke. But it held stiff at 10 feet, okay? That's just a sign it's a damn good tape measure. And remember, like I said, right here in the play, don't be concerned about it. There's nothing wrong with the tape measure. I get a couple of questions going, I got problems with my tape measure, there's all this play in the front. That must mean it's not that accurate or that good of a tape measure. No, it's supposed to be there. And if you want real accuracy, like I said, I use the actual numbers. I'll start even at, it doesn't matter, I'll start at 5 and I'll start counting out to where I want to make my mark. That gives you an absolute precise measurement. Again, the Fat Max was one of my top choices. Nothing wrong with this Lufkin, and there's nothing wrong with the lever lock. This serves its purpose too. Quick, down, dirty, easy way to measure something, just something to have handy. Alright, there is something I want to mention on all tape measures, but I'll use this Fat Max one as a demonstration. The bottom of this right here measures exactly 3 inches. Not the most accurate thing in the world, but let's say you're measuring a corner, okay? And we all run into, you're measuring this way and you hit that corner, and then you try to bend it up. Then you can try to eyeball it and get as close as you can. Alright, let's say this is the angle of the wall. Put that up against here. I know that that's 3 inches. Now if I was like right out to here, and let's say that this is where I want to measure from to the angle right here, this 90-degree angle. I know that this is 6 inches, I know that the base of this is 3, that's 9 inches. Or if you're out a little bit and I know that this is 6 1/8, now it becomes 9 1/8. So that's just a little trick you can do. Another little trick you can do is if you have some oddball measurement, like out here, let's say that you want to know what half of like 30 1/2 is. And so here's 30 1/2. I'm going to bend this to here, and I'm going to bring it around to 30 1/2. Then if I take a look dead on here, it tells me that 50 and a quarter is going to equal the 30 1/2. By going like this and looking at that measurement in there, you'll be able to see it. Now it's just, do I use that very much? No. I just happened to run across it in my reading, and I thought I'd share it with you. I mean, if you run into some oddball thing that you're measuring. But those are just quick tips on tape measures. The point of the video really was to have a discussion with you on how do I know when I'm buying a good one versus when I'm not. Okay, it's up to you. There's lots of good ones out there. Even like I said, Milwaukee. I think somebody's got mine, probably either my wife or my son or somebody. But I have a Milwaukee. It's a damn good one too. Do the break test. The strength tells you the strength of this right here, of the metal that it was made out of and how good it is. It's one way to give you an idea on quality. Don't step on them. This is where you're going to fatigue and screw them up. I'm careful with my tools, especially these. I don't want them damaged. I've had these for years. You can tell right here by all of the dirt and the gunk that's on them. So there we go, lever lock. I guess I should have got all 3. 2 of them are Stanley, of course, but look, the choice is yours. It's just a quick discussion, giving you a couple of tips when you go out to buy that tape measure, and see what you think. I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you click subscribe. Drop me a comment if you got a tape measure you think is just as good or better. But hopefully you got something out of the video. I thank you, folks. I'll see you over the weekend. We're going to do a how-to project. I'm not sure what it is yet. I don't know if we're going to make a wooden sign or what we're going to do, but we'll do something fun and we'll do something together. All right, so drop a comment if there's something in particular you'd like to see done that I do. If not, I'll pull something off of the forum. I'll talk to you folks soon. As far as the tape measures and where do I buy them, I will leave them in the links below down there. All right, folks, I'll see you again here shortly. Bye-bye.